how to make money quick. Fuck if I know. I mean, literally, like it really speaks to the fact that before I joined Niji, I was like I have like you know, I don't like, my parents are definitely supportive and stuff, but I was like, before I joined Niji, I was broke as shit. You know, I like would literally living to the point where it was like, you know, living off of savings, and everything I earn every month just is consumed by rent and all of that kind of stuff. Like, if you want to learn how to make money, I'm not the right person to ask. I mean, even though I'm in a really good situation at the moment, I feel like I owe that to Nijisanji more than anything. And you know, it's been obviously very, very lucky for me, because I feel like Nijisanji came into my life at like the exact right time, you know, right as I would have been about to enter the world with a set of skills I didn't know how to utilize properly, and with passion that I didn't know where to put, and, you know, with undiagnosed ADHD. I feel like I would have been far more lost than I am now. So, you know, they really did like scoop me up and save me. And do you ever get a thing where you feel so lucky to have something that it feels like you'll lose it if you think about it too hard? I get that all the time. I get that all the time. It's like when I think back to what is it? When I think back to like the audition process and how unlikely it was that I would have actually signed up, and done it. I get chills, because I feel like, what if me thinking it feels so delicate. The long sequence of unlikely events that led me here is so unlikely that when I think about what happened, I almost worry that by thinking about it, it's so delicate that the mere thought process will undo that little thread of time, and I'll just get snapped back to reality and be like, oh yeah, I'm back living my normal life again, right? So yeah, it's been you know, such a fan. Obviously, I've gone on and on and on about how happy I am to be here, but I think that it really does sort of. It's really made me believe that, like, I don't know, you know, if you look hard enough, when you feel lost in life, you will find somewhere to go. Because I was at a point where, like, I wasn't very happy. You know, I was very unhappy before I found Niji, and before I decided, like, this is something that I really want to do with my life. Because before then, I mean, you know, like I said, I didn't have a lot of money, and my prospects were pretty limited, and you know, I felt like I was decently talented, and I had like plenty to offer. But when it came to like which direction to go, I didn't know. You know, I really didn't know. And then I think about like oh god, the fact that it was Onigiri who... I didn't know what Nijisanji was before. I had never heard of it. I had never... Like, I was barely even... I knew I was barely even, like, familiar with VTubers at all. Like, you know, I felt like I'd done a little bit of research before then, but I really felt like I'd barely scratched the surface, you know. And, you know, Onigiri was like, hey, you know, this might be good for you. And I was like, huh. And And I remember at the time, like, looking at Niji EN, I actually didn't even know anything about Niji JP, although looking back, I had seen people from Niji JP before. I just didn't know what Niji was. I had seen Cronoir and stuff like that, but I didn't, like, make the connection. And in my head, I was like, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to go for it. You know, I kind of looked at it, and I was like, well, you know, it's like I'm kind of busy with, like, my studying at the moment. I was like, well, you know, it might be good. I'm so glad that I actually decided to do it. I mean, you know, I'm so glad. God, you know, going through all of that, and like, and then coming out on the other side. Everyone from Luxem has already talked about like what it has been like when we got like the acceptance email. But I obviously because JST at that time would have been 9 hours ahead of UK time. So I woke up at about unusually early one morning, because at the time I was waking up at like 2 p.m. It was not on the toilet. I was in bed. Where'd you get that from? I was not on the toilet, although that was very in character for me. I was in bed and I woke up at like 8 in the morning, which at the time was very unusual for me. I think it might have been fate. And I got my phone out and I saw an email. And the thing about these acceptance emails is that the opening sentence of the email is like really, really misleading, and it makes it sound like you haven't gotten it. It makes it sound like you've been rejected at the beginning. Like it opens with, "We thank you for the time you have dedicated to your audition process." And I was like, fuck, no, god damn it. I was like, no, I fucked it up. And then I kept reading. It says, "We're delighted to say that we would love you to have you be a part of Nijisanji." And I was like, and then I've said this before, but I'll say it again because it was really cute. I literally was sat there and I like hugged my phone. Like I sat there and I just kind of kicked my feet and I was like, yes, and then I remember like there was also the email was really, really big, like with all sorts of details about like the next steps and stuff like that. But I remember obviously like you have to be really, really careful about who you tell about these things, like especially in the early stages. And so like I was and I only told people who I really, 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 really trusted. I was like, so I feel like I was almost like respectful of like the privacy of everything, even to the point of like being really anal about it. Like if someone would ask like, so like, can you show me something? No, I won't. Like even if it's someone who I trust, I was like, no, I don't want to show, because at that point it felt so exciting to me, and it felt like I'm fucking back, baby. It felt I'm fucking back. I'm back on track again. I was so excited about it. I was so scared of fucking it up. I was so scared of fucking it up, of like breaking some unseen rule, of like answering wrong to one of the emails. I was like and obviously because like it's been so many. It not only has it been so many hundreds of years since I had been to Japan at the time, but also, customs change, culture changes, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what is the etiquette? How do I address these people? How do I do this? How do I do that? And then when I started to reply to the email, it was like, name, like this is from manager, or this is from staff, name redacted, obviously. And I was like, okay, I didn't know how honorifics worked. And so I was like, should I add the honorific or should I not? I'm like, am I going to write it wrong? Are they going to find it like offensive if I use the wrong one? I'm like, if I don't use it at all, is that like informal? Are they not going to like that? But if I use the right one, like, is it just going to seem like I'm a foreigner who's like, and maybe I shouldn't be using it, And so before I replied to the email, I had literally like done so much research on how to use honorifics properly. And even then I'd like cross-reference second opinion from all these different fucking articles. And in the end, I realized that management were actually just very sweet. And like, what's something really funny? Quite a little while ago, like we were having a conversation on Discord with a couple of Niji people. This was a good few months ago. Like, this was a while ago. But I remember Reimu was there. We were chatting about like, the process of when we got accepted into Niji. And I was talking about the way that I write emails, because when I write emails, I don't mean to pat myself on the back. I'm really, really fucking good at writing like formal emails and stuff, and like sounding like someone from work, the right amount of exclamation points, the right amount of like extra details, the right, like being concise in the right way. And so that's what I was doing when I was writing to Niji. And it was like, whenever they would send me an email with like, we would need this from you, how do you feel about this and this? And I would write back and I would be like, that's Slack again. Speaking of which, I would be like, I'd be like, thank you. I would essentially be like, thank you so much for the prompt response. Very excited to keep working together. Thank you so much for your email. Very excited to keep working together. On the following, I feel as though this would be excellent, although I do have some thoughts that perhaps we could also try this. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to speaking again soon. And I looked up like the best ways to end off a letter, and it was like, oh, if you don't know them, the best thing is best regards. Warm regards is too personal. You wouldn't say yours sincerely unless you knew someone. So you say regards or best regards or just like sign your name at the bottom. And so I learned that. And then when I said this, Raimi was like, why the fuck are you writing it so formally? And her emails to Niji are literally like literally with like, I don't know, like IDK ... maybe we can do this and stuff like that. And I was like, you were writing to this company like that? You were writing in like text lingo? What the fuck? But then it turned out obviously everything was fine and she got in. So I've concluded that I was just massively overthinking. But at the same time, I'm glad I did. And you know something? I still talk to stuff like that, because I feel like it's a good skill, in like a corporate environment to be able to kind of like talk about the things that you really want to do, but in a way that people who who aren't on your side of the production process can understand it. So recently I had a really good experience with Manager-san where essentially we were having a conversation about my law project, and I was sending Manager-san some of the artwork from it, and I was essentially saying, what do you think about this? And I was asking, no spoilers, but I was asking do you feel this is too violent? And we were having a long conversation about it, and Manager-san was considering, you may want to do this, you may want to tone it down, or because obviously there's the chance of age restrictions, stuff like that. And I was like, okay. And we talked about this for a while. And near the end of it, I was kind of saying well, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that. And then I ended it off with, I would like to apologize if I sound at all pedantic or argumentative. I'm just very passionate about making sure this project is in the best state that it can be in. And Manager-san was like, oh, brilliant. Well, it was no, we completely understand. And, ultimately, we'll leave the choice in your hands and that kind of stuff.
このバンド組はグランマスポンサーの東京でおクリスマス